Are you ready? Let it bounce.
Hey guys, happy Friday. And today is check-in number 4 for hashtag make 9 and hashtag make 5 2025. Now listen, let's go ahead and start off with make 9 2025 because your to-do list is straight up sewing. Begin the sewing process. Now, you guys remember about 2-ish months ago, I talked about the prep framework. And I did that for a reason because you guys always ask me, Rochelle, how are you able to get things done? And I told you guys, I work off of a prep framework. So the last 3 weeks was all about the P and the R. The P standing for plan and process. The R standing for research, inspiration, like your research is your inspiration, your Pinterest, whatever, however you decide to get your inspiration. So that was the P and the R. Now this week, because you're beginning the sewing process, you're in E. E stands for execution, okay? So you need to execute making your item. And then after this week, in the next week and a half, you will be in the last P, which will be presentations and photo shoots, okay? Stay tuned for that because that is like my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of sewing items together and photographing it, okay? So yes, you gotta do a photo shoot. You got to, all right? But anyway, right now we are in E, which is execution, which would be the sewing process. Now, for this week, for hashtag make 9 2025, what you need to do is document the sewing process. Like one thing that I do, and you guys probably don't believe this, but one thing I do, like when I'm doing sew alongs, I actually have a notebook right next to me to write down if there was like things that I said that I need to make sure that I put in the video. If I said something about another video and stuff like that. So I always have a notebook right next to my sewing table. So I'm able to jot down things that I need to make sure that I put in different videos, as well as, now I don't do it when I'm sitting down in front of you guys right here, but I try to remember what I said so I can link to it. But definitely, I would always say jot down what went good, what went bad, jot down the pattern size that you cut. Make sure you make note of any modifications you did. Tell us about the fit. Tell me if you enjoyed sewing the pattern or not. But yeah, I definitely have kind of like a little template on how you can do your posts for those of you who are part of hashtag make 5 and hashtag make 9 as well. So just posting the photo up with no comments to what pattern did you use? What was the outcome of it? Would you sew it again? What size did you cut? Did you make any modifications? Did it look like the pattern or the drawn on the pattern envelope? Would you sew it again? Would you recommend it? Like those things are the things that I like to see in your post. So when you post it, which is the last P, presentation photo shoot, you definitely want to give some details behind what you sewed, okay? So your checklist for hashtag make 9 2025 is begin the sewing process, share some of the details, wrapping up the project or whatever, focusing on like your hemming and focusing on a little bit of the sewing process as well. And then you're going to add the finishing details next week. The finishing details next week would be just basically finishing up your garment, okay? So that's for hashtag make 9 2025. Let's talk about hashtag 5 2025. For hashtag make 5 2025, you could have done this last week, but if you did not, you could definitely do it this week. So this week is making a muslin and cutting your fabric. So if you notice, last week for make 9, you did the muslin and cutting your fabric, and then this week you're doing the sewing. Now for make 5, you're just doing the muslin and cutting the fabric. You're not getting into sewing just yet, okay? So your to-do list for hashtag make 5 2025 is to make a muslin if it's applicable. what that means is like, for me, let me show you what I'm creating. So for my Make 9, I'm going to pull the pattern out, but it's in these project bags. I'll put the link to these project bags in the description box below so you can check them out. I have like 12 of these bags. So I have lots of projects that I could put in bags, right? So for reference, this is my Make 9 2025 project. I am also going to be live February 9th, which is also Super Bowl Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen, your girl is going to be in and out of there like swimwear. 1.5 hours is all I'm giving myself to do this dress. Wish me luck because, listen, I'm doing a whole dress and only have an hour and a half to do so. Wish me luck, but I think I'm going to be able to get it done. I would hope to see you there. Once again, it is Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, February 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to sew up McCall's 8053, and I'm making modifications. If you missed my video where I did my February sewing plans, it talked about this one and the modifications I'm going to be making. And those 3 modifications is adding sleeve band, adding a center back zipper to the back of this dress because this is a no notion pattern. So I'm adding a center back zipper to the back, and then I'm also going to add pockets as well to this pattern. So just wish me luck there. And this is McCall's 8053. All right. Now getting it back into Make 5 2025, the pattern that I'm using for that one is Simplicity 9858. It is going to be an oversized top. It is going to be in green. I decided to, instead of going with a hunter green, I decided to go with a bright green that was already in my stash. Now for this one, I thought about adding flaps to the, above the pockets, but then as I made the flaps, I don't know if I'm going to utilize that on this pattern just yet. And the reason why is because it does have like a yoke at the front, and I'm going to have to sandwich the flaps, the bottom and the yoke together so it can look right. So I'm still up on the fence on that. But this is the pattern. Simplicity 9858 is what my Make 5 pattern I'm going to use. So I'm not making a muslin for this one, and this only because it's oversized, so it's not going to be applicable for this one. So after you do your muslin, the next thing you're going to do is cut your fabric. In terms of cutting your fabric, what you need to do is cut your fabric, your lining, your inner lining, your interfacing. Those are all the things that you need to cut for your garment. After you do that, you're going to organize it into these lovely bags, okay? So you want to organize your pattern into project bags, or what do they call them? If you don't have any of these, you could use Ziploc freezer bags. You could also use, I think it's called the gallon bag. You can use that. If you use, I call it the little grocery bag. You can use that. However, you make sure that all your notions and everything is together. That's all you need. All right. Well, those are your tasks for hashtag Make 9 and hashtag Make 5 this week. Let me share with you guys some behind the scenes of the last few weeks of me starting my hashtag Make 9 and hashtag Make 5.
Yeah, girl, me love when you wind up your ass. Girl, me love when you wind up your ass. Yeah, girl, me want you fi bubble, 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 bubble. Girl, me want you fi bubble, 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 bubble. Girl, me want you fi sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Girl, me want you fi sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Girl, me want you fi say it good, say it right. Funny bike back, you hold on tight. Sweet love, all night. Make you moan high like kite. Girl, you never get a man so nice. Day in her life, she no want left my side. Love how she dash it like dice. She no want me feel leave her night. Bubble, 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 bubble. Girl, me want you feel bubble, 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 bubble. Girl, me want you feel sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Girl, me want you feel sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. That girl, yeah, she bad jail. When she drop it like convict, up in her something like athlete. Swear this a cause conflict. She no want go home now. She drop it like banana. Miss Liquor riding hood longer. Grab me, wine to this big sauna. Girl, me want you, girl, me want you. Bubble, 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 bubble. Girl, me want you. Bubble, 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 bubble. Girl, me want you. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Girl, me want you. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Girl, me want you. Say it good, say it right. On the bike, but you want and tighter. Sweet lover, all nighter. Make you moan high like kite. Girl, you never get a man so nice. Day in her life, she no want left my side. Love how she dash it like dice. She no want me feel leave all night.
All right, so there you have it. That is my behind the scenes so far of what I've been working on for both hashtag Make 9 2025 and hashtag Make 5 2025. Once again, my completed process. You're not going to see Make 9 from me until the final reveal will be February 9th. I will be showing this up on live, and then I'll share behind the scenes photos of a photo shoot with you the upcoming week. All right. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. And if this video was educational, inspiring, and fun, you guys know what to do. Give your girl a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I will catch you in the next one. Until next time, keep sewing.